Welcome to Focus on Family. I'm Heather Lindquist. Today we have the distinct pleasure of being joined by Miss Ellen Roth, Club President of the Lockport Rotary Club, and Mr. Phil Penepent, the Chairman of the PR Committee. Both of you, thank you for joining us today. Tell us, what is Rotary?
Well, Heather, thanks so much for having us today. We really like the opportunity to share with the community what Rotary really is all about. It's, I think a lot of misconceptions or just misinformation out there. It's a service organization. It's internationally based, but we have our Lockport Club here that's very active in the community. We have over 60 members, and we do a lot of good work raising money and distributing grants and helping out people in the community here in Lockport.
And how did Rotary get started, Phil?
Rotary started in Chicago, Illinois by an attorney there that wanted to, his name was Paul Harris, and he wanted just to get everybody from the community together, different businesses and that kind of thing, to learn about different businesses, so different businessmen. In the beginning it was just kind of like a gentleman's club, and I think that's kind of the persona that Rotary sometimes still has, but actually for over 30 years, there's been both men and women allowed into the club. The club actually gets its name Rotary because they used to change positions in the club, like president, vice president, things like that every year.
And what is a typical Rotary Club meeting like? I know Lockport has a reputation for being the singing club.
Yes, we are a singing club. Not all clubs are. Each club has its own unique flavor, and people are fortunate in that within our community there's probably 40 clubs just within our area that people can join. It's mostly by where you work or where you live. You would choose a club. But our club is fun. We meet for lunch on Tuesdays, except once a month we meet for breakfast, just to mix it up a little and give people maybe who can't get out at lunchtime the chance to come to the meetings. We have fun. We socialize. We cover club business. We go over events that are coming up or projects that we're working on. But it's just a great opportunity to get together with friends, because that's kind of a side benefit of Rotary. You're out there doing good in the community, but it really gives you a chance to form some lasting friendships.
And our Rotary Club is well known for that. The members there are so active in the community, and you run into them all over the place. And when and where does our Lockport Rotary Club meet?
We meet on Tuesdays. Currently we're meeting at 80 Main Banquets, right next door to Lock 34 on Main Street. And they do a great job. They provide us with a wonderful lunch. You can choose to have lunch or just come for the fellowship and the meeting events. And then, like I said, once a month we meet on the third Tuesday of each month at 8 a.m. for a breakfast meeting.
And for anyone who would be considering joining, what time would the lunch and breakfast meetings be?
We try to stick as best we can to an hour, because we know people's time is valuable. So we meet at noon for lunch, and we meet at 8 a.m. for breakfast.
Okay. And what is the Rotary Club of Lockport doing now, Phil, to help our community?
Oh, all sorts of stuff. Actually, was it 2 weekends ago, I think? We just did our highway cleanup. We have a stretch of Highway 31 over here on the west side of town that twice a year we go out and clean up what needs to be cleaned up. Yeah, I didn't know, the best way to say that. But coming up in the next month, or next couple months, I should say, we're going to be selling newspapers for the
United Way?
For the United Way. That's exactly right.
And these are some folks here.
Yep, that was the highway cleanup right there. Absolutely.
And what's the United Way newspapers?
Yeah, we do that annually to just raise money for the United Way. That's a great organization that we like to pair with.
You'll see folks out on the street corner, so be careful. I think it's coming up in August where the United Way has the people out selling those newspapers for $1, so hopefully you'll have an extra $1 and you can stop and pick one up from a Rotarian.
It's invigorating being on the side of the road, holding a newspaper.
At the crack of dawn.
Absolutely. Yep, nothing like it.
They do tend to have neon-colored shirts on.
Yes, I think you're right about that.
You usually see them.
Yep, absolutely.
You're right.
Absolutely.
And what are some hands-on examples of Rotary service in our community, Ellen?
Oh, you'll see us out. The Salvation Army is a big beneficiary of Rotary service work. We serve a turkey dinner every holiday season to the clients over at the Salvation Army's food kitchen. You'll see us by the red kettles, ringing the bells and collecting donations for the Salvation Army every spring. We do fundraisers to, there's some Santa hat adorned people, and there's some lovely hairnet adorned folks at the Salvation Army. They have a wonderful new kitchen facility over there. A lot of our fundraising efforts help projects like that. We put a lot of investment into the Salvation Army's renovated kitchen. We raise money for scholarship awards. Those are some of our past youth scholarship winners. We have Lockport High School students eligible to receive high school scholarship or college scholarships. So we do fundraising and give those grants out to community groups to help them.
And what about the Locks Heritage District Corporation?
Did you do that, Phil? Were you a lock tender?
I have to work on Saturdays, so I can't do that. But someday I will. Someday I just got to take a vacation day to do it. But yeah, that's one of the phenomenal things that we're involved with the community. We put together a team every single year to work those locks, just to show folks either from the community or here tourists and that kind of thing. The great heritage that we have here in this area.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys also, just one other thing I'd like to talk about is the basketball tournament that you guys organize.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something that anybody who would want to participate could sign up for, or is that just for members?
It's kind of the tip-off tournament at Lockport High School. It happens the first weekend in December every year, and Rotarians organize that as an effort to raise some extra funds for the high school athletic programs. It's an invitational tournament. I'm pretty sure it's always Lockport. I know St. Joe's has come a few years. There's a couple of Buffalo high schools also that come and participate. It's usually a 4-team weekend-long tournament, and brings out the community to see some great basketball and raises some money for the athletic department as well.
What fun. Now, the Lockport Rotary also holds several fundraisers throughout the year to support the high school scholarship that you guys were just talking about. And what are some of those beneficiaries for that?
Oh, our community grants program is far-reaching. There's a lot of agencies in the community that come to us seeking help, small grants, but just ways that we can help with the fundraising that we do. We've helped
the YMCA, the YWCA.
We've given a grant to DeSales Catholic School for their literacy programs. Yep. We've helped the Dale Association, the Salvation Army. There's an application on our website that folks can go and complete and send it into our giving committee, and it'll be reviewed. We look for programs that are sustainable and that will help the most people in our community and have the most impact with the dollars that we can spend.
And what is that website where folks could find the application for those grants?
LockportRotary.com.
That's right.
Now, your club is a part of Rotary International.
Mm-hmm.
Phil, tell us about what the Lockport that we're doing here in Lockport is impacting the world. What kind of reach do we have?
When I first joined the club, I was really excited because we were right in the midst of this project that we were doing in Tanzania for water wells over there, and that we piggybacked with some other local clubs.
It was a Buffalo club. One of the Rotary clubs in Buffalo had started this project and invited other clubs to support it and share in the effort.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was just really cool that, the dollars that we can raise here and sometimes get a matching grant through Rotary International, through their foundation, can go to help people all over the world, because there's a lot of, as we all know, there's a lot of need all over the world. And doing that project is one of the 6 focuses of Rotary International, something with water. But, I mean, that's the great thing about the organization here. You can be involved in a local club here. You can impact the entire world. And pretty much anywhere you go in the world, there is a Rotary Club, which is also really neat.
It's amazing when you see the impact. Several members, including Phil and myself, just had the opportunity to go to Toronto for the Rotary International Convention. There were 30,000 people there from all over the world who are all Rotarians, all working on humanitarian projects. And one of the focuses of Rotary is providing quality water for people, and the impact that can have on education, on women's ability to be productive members of their society. Women are spending their entire day going to wells to collect water for their family. If Rotary can provide a source of water closer to where they live and work, it's amazing the impact on their family and on their community. And we think of it as such a simple thing, just to have clean drinking water. It's life-changing for some of these communities.
Yes, yes. And then moving on, tell us a little bit about the Rotary Scholarship program. I know we've touched just a little bit about that. Can you guys tell us a little more about that?
Yeah, that's actually one of my favorite things that I'm involved with. So every year we open up the application process to Lockport High School students. It's also open to families, folks that live in the Lockport School District, but that might go to one of the parochial schools in Buffalo, something along those lines. But they qualify for either a 4-year academic scholarship or a up to 2-year vocational scholarship from an accredited college or university. And fill out the application, and the committee that we have formed goes through these applications. They kind of let the cream rise to the top, so to say, and then we bring in these kids for interviews, and then we select one vocational and one academic scholar every year. And the cool thing too is recently we've been inviting these kids back, because we've been giving out these scholarships for some time.
Okay.
To have them, I mean, they're the best of the best, and it's very difficult to pick out, okay, this is the one that we want to represent Lockport Rotary
This
in
committee
college.
has one of the hardest jobs because these applicants are active, involved, they volunteer, they're great scholars, they're community leaders.
Right.
I don't know how you guys pick. I'm not served on that committee, and
Well, a lot of them have
I'd be
part-time jobs
challenged.
too. I always ask these kids, when do you sleep? You know, and like, I don't know. I thought I was a pretty good high school kid, but I'm nothing like these kids. These kids are.
But it's a substantial award. It's
Yes.
$2,000 a year, and it could be over the 4 years or over 1 or 2 years for a vocational program.
Right.
And now that we're kind of in the beginning of the school year,
Yes.
what time of the year can kids expect to apply for this scholarship?
We'll put the application up on the website at the fairly close to the start of the school year, so they can look for that again at lockportrotary.com.
Yep.
And it's right on the application, should be right on the scholarship page, and you just print it out, fill it out, and mail it in. And then we do the interviews, I believe, around holiday time.
We have been doing them end of January, early February, yeah. And the reason that we're doing that is because we like to award these scholarships, and so these kids kind of know where the money's coming from and that kind of thing for the upcoming
It can
school
impact their decision as to where they may
Absolutely.
be able to go or not go.
year. Absolutely.
Right. We are here with Ellen and with Pete talking about Lockport Rotary and all of the things that are going on with our Rotary Club as a service organization. We'll continue that conversation when we return from the break.
But it's Phil.
I'm so sorry.
okay, I was gonna
Phil,
call you
I'm
in a
so
minute.
Adventure can be found anywhere, but the best place to start is in the forest.
I spy something beginning with S.
Snow.
No.
Snow-covered trees.
Nothing to do with snow.
Head outside to discover incredible animals and beautiful plants that come together to create an unforgettable adventure.
Wow.
So grab your loved ones
Don't even.
and explore a world of possibilities.
Come on, this way.
Visit discovertheforest.org to find the closest forest or park to you.
My poetry is about viewing the world as I saw it as a young man, and down through the ages I continued to write verse. I used that as a creative expression, but it also helped me through life because I could address certain issues, certain feelings, and certain appreciations. I'm a retired school psychologist, and helping people was my thing. After my stroke, when Meals on Wheels started, I was on the other end of the stick, so to speak. And suddenly I realized I was there where those other people were. My name is Julius Gaines, creative writer, poet, photographer. America, let's do lunch.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
Hamilton was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He really likes to be around people. And as soon as I start to make my breakfast, Hamilton is right there. I get out my mat and I'm doing a downward dog and he's underneath. He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties. He knows he's a pretty big deal. I mean, look at this little face. How would you not love him?
Hello, welcome back to Focus on Family. I'm Heather Lindquist. I am here with Phil and Ellen of the Lockport Rotary Club. We'll just continue our conversation about Rotary and how they're serving our community. Before we move into the Rotary Youth Exchange, how would somebody who's interested in the Rotary Club join?
They really just need to visit our website, lockportrotary.com. There is applications there for membership. We have different types of membership based on people's different situations. We like to be accommodating of people's time and needs and their own personal situations. So we have individual memberships, business memberships, and family memberships, and it's all outlined on our website. The easiest way to get started in the process is all of our board members, Phil and I are both on the board. Our contact information is right on the homepage of our website. You just click on a board member's name and it'll generate a page to just send an email inquiry and just let us know you're interested and we'll get back to you.
Right. And I'd like to add too, our meetings are open to the public. So if you want to come and check out what actually goes on during a meeting, just see what's happening, you can absolutely come.
And the program for the day is always listed on our website, who's going to be speaking.
That's right.
At each weekly meeting, what the topic is going to be. So if it's something that's interesting to you, come on out and join us.
I know the Rotary Club meetings are always extremely fascinating. Our Rotary Club has some fascinating people and businesses and projects come tell all about what they're doing. It's going to an open meeting is a perfect segue to joining the club. And what can people expect when they do join? What are their first steps to becoming a full-fledged member?
Well, we try to be very welcoming because it is kind of overwhelming when you join something new. And there's a lot of Rotary is great because it has a lot of structure to it. There is a lot of infrastructure and hierarchy and stuff with the international organization down to the local clubs. So we put some steps in place that we encourage new members to go through just to become more acclimated with all the things that go on in Rotary. So things like you're required to visit another local club at their meeting. You're required to attend a board meeting just to see what happens at our monthly board meetings. You want to try and join committees. We have different fundraising and community service committees. We ask new members to join those. Our district, our Rotary area that runs, actually it's international, it runs from St. Catharines down to Jamestown. Our district holds training. We'd like to encourage new members to attend some of those training programs just to find out more about the ins and outs of Rotary.
And moving on into I think the big topic of the day is the Rotary Youth Exchange. Phil, could you tell us what that is?
Yeah, absolutely. The Rotary Youth Exchange is a phenomenal program that's been going on for, I don't even know how long. It's been a long time. I myself, my family had an exchange student from Brazil when I was in high school. But typically we sponsor one outbound student from the Lockport area to go somewhere around the world where another Rotary Club is going to sponsor them to come learn about a different culture, learn a different language, just kind of get out of your element, learn a little bit more about yourself for sure. So this upcoming year, the application process is open for an outbound student. So if you are interested in something like that, again, check out lockportrotary.com, our website, to get some more information about that.
And what are some of the benefits of the Rotary Youth Exchange? What could a student expect to learn, expect to gain from this program?
I mean, really just get out of your element. You know, if you're from the Lockport community and you kind of want to see the world, they're really, at that age, I can't think of a better way to do it, a better program to do it. Not only are you immersing yourself in another culture, going to another school, learning another language, but often you're meeting business people from this other community, other country, and that kind of thing. Leadership skills, I'm sure.
Very much.
Yeah.
You've really become a global citizen because the Rotary program is very strongly vetted. The host families that you're going to go live with, as well as the support you get from the Rotary Club that's in the country that you're visiting. There's very rigorous structures and rules, and everything is very supported. So you know that you're going to have, you're not just sending your child out there into the unknown. There's a huge organization that supports the Rotary Youth Exchange program and makes sure that everything is done in a quality manner.
The international component of that Rotary Club really starts to shine with something like this. How long does an exchange last?
There's actually two choices. We have a long and short-term youth exchange. The long-term exchange basically runs for a school year. So a student can expect to spend a school year abroad. They would live with 2 or 3 host families throughout their stay in a foreign country, and they become basically a part of that family. You get immersed in the culture and the activities of that family. Then there's a short-term exchange, which is more of a family-to-family, one-on-one kind of exchange. Basically what it is a student from Lockport would go and spend 3 weeks in another country living with a family, and then right after that, for the following 3 weeks, a sibling from that host family would come back to Lockport and stay with the student's family here in Lockport. So it's a one-to-one family exchange where a student goes abroad and then a member of the family that that student stayed with comes back to Lockport.
How fascinating. It's a great way to really make some friends abroad.
Right, and it's just short term. It's 3 weeks here and 3 weeks back home, or 3 weeks away. So it's a way to maybe kind of test the waters to see if you'd be ready for a long-term school year exchange.
And the empty nest syndrome won't be too bad on parents.
Exactly.
And what are the costs of the Rotary Youth Exchange?
Well, the family of the student has to pay for their round-trip airfare to wherever it is they're going. Travel insurance is required to make sure that everything is safe while the student's abroad. You'd need to cover the cost of travel documents like passports and visas, and then to allow for the student to have some spending money. But all the room and board and educational costs while the student is away are covered by the Rotary and by the host family.
Okay. And how will local students apply for the Rotary Youth Exchange?
There's a great website that's run by our district that oversees our youth exchange program here in the Western New York area, and it's Rotary YE for youth exchange, Rotary YE 7090, and that's the number of our Rotary district. So it's rotarye7090.org, and right there is all kinds of information, an application, time frames, things like that. Lots of detailed information at rotarye7090.org.
And what would the timeline be for an applicant? What can they expect to happen? I know you guys hold interviews.
Mm-hmm. The applications are accepted at the start of the school year, and then we hold interviews to pick our Lockport outbound candidate in December, and then they go to either Buffalo or Ontario if they're from a Canadian, if they live closer to Canada, to do a personal interview with the district level before the selection is final. But then all the way leading up to their departure in August, the student has orientation events, time to meet and get to know other outbound students and inbound students, time for their families to have questions answered, make travel arrangements, start learning the language if necessary for the country that they're preparing to go to. So there's lots of help along the way from the time a student decides to do youth exchange to the time they actually leave for a long-term exchange in August.
Okay. And how, if someone local is interested in hosting one of the youth exchange students, how would they become a host?
You've done that. I don't know if you want to. I've done it as well.
He kind of just fell into our lap. I don't know.
It's a great experience. No, it's a great experience.
I'm just kidding.
You have to get approved and interviewed and such by the local club.
Yep.
There's background checks and everything is vetted before you can host. One of the requirements for Lockport hosting families is our students must attend Lockport High School when they come in from another country. So the host family needs to reside in the Lockport School District for that to happen. But really, we encourage families who have middle and high school age students at home. It just makes the experience more enriching for both the exchange student and the family when you have children of that age. But it's not a requirement. We just try to find a family that is willing to embrace the student and bring them into their family, take them on family trips and weekends and things that they do. Just treat them as another one of their children.
Okay. And that also, to find out more about being a host family, you'll also go to that Rotary YE7090.org.
Right.
One other thing we'd like to touch on today is the Polio Plus program that Rotary has been involved with for a very long time. Could you tell us about that and what kind of steps that program has made as an impact in our world?
Mm-hmm.
In the early 1980s or late 1970s,
yeah.
Whomever you ask, there was a debate about that at the International Convention, I'm sure. But the Rotary International decided that there are certain diseases out there that are absolutely preventable, and what can we do to eradicate a preventable disease, and polio was one of those. It has a vaccination, and the tens of thousands of people that had this back in the late 70s, early 80s, they just wanted to put a stop to it. So almost every Rotary Club, if not every single Rotary Club, in some way has impacted the eradication of polio in that 30, 40-year time span. Last year, there were only 22 new cases of polio reported, and they made it very evident at the International Convention that they will not stop until there is absolutely no new cases of this disease. And not only are they, there's a drop program, so they go into countries where there is the possibility of contracting polio, and all the children from the town gather together. They drop these 2 little drops in their mouths, and that's the prevention of polio right there.
It's just we're this close, and
Right.
we're getting support from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Every Rotarian contributes to the Rotary Foundation, and together we're going to do it. We're going to make this happen, that this disease no longer exists in our world.
What a fascinating way to join hands to really take one problem and solve that one problem. And what about one other thing, the Interact Club?
Oh, yes.
Could you tell us just a small bit about the Interact Club and
Sure.
opportunities for youth in our area?
Interact is Rotary's version of Rotary Club for high school students. And Lockport High School has a very active Interact Club. The guidance counselors, Amy Scapoletti and Krista Isherwood, moderate the club. They meet regularly. They do community service works. They get together and join hand in hand with our Rotary Club and do projects as well. And they help us out with our events and fundraisers. It's just a way to give high school kids who I know have that desire to do things in the community and help serve their community an organized opportunity to do it. And they can just check with the guidance office at Lockport High School and find out more about it.
Okay. Well, thank you both, Phil, Ellen, for joining us today, for telling us so much about Rotary Club and the amazing impact that it's having on our community and the world at large. And for Focus on Family, I'm Heather Lindquist. We'll see you next time.